Have you ever wondered why some men seem to possess an invisible power? One that draws women in, earns their respect, and keeps them endlessly intrigued. It's not just about looks, money, or even charm. No, there's something deeper, more elusive. These are the men who say very little, yet their presence commands attention. They walk into a room and something shifts. The truth? They carry secrets, unspoken codes of behavior that most never even recognize. And once a woman senses these hidden traits, she can never see him the same again. In today's video, we're peeling back the curtain on 5 powerful secrets that every high-value man quietly keeps from women. These aren't cheap tricks or pickup tactics. They're timeless, principles rooted in psychology, discipline, and emotional mastery. If you want to transform not only how women see you, but how you see yourself, stay with me. This could reshape your entire love life. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more Stoic Power insights, and watch until the end because the last secret might just unlock the respect you've always desired. Point 1. The power of silent emotional control. Have you ever been in that moment? Standing face to face with someone you love, when emotions are running high, words are flying like daggers, and yet there's this strange part of you that just wants to shout back, to defend yourself, to prove your point? But you don't. You stay silent, calm, controlled, not because you don't care, but because you care enough not to let your emotions destroy what your wisdom is still trying to protect. Let me ask you, can you remember a moment like that? A heated argument with a girlfriend, a wife, or maybe even someone you were just starting to fall for? That split second where your heart is pounding, your throat tightens, and every fiber of your being wants to react? What did you do? Did you lose yourself in the storm? Or did you hold your ground in silence, allowing the weight of your calmness to speak louder than any words could? You see, my friend, this is the power of silent emotional control. It's not coldness. It's not indifference. It's a form of strength that most men never master. The kind of strength that draws women in because it radiates something so rare, emotional safety. Women are far more intuitive than we often give them credit for. They can sense when a man is ruled by his impulses, and they can sense when a man governs himself. And in that silent control, they feel secure. Because in a world full of emotional chaos, a man who can steady himself becomes an anchor. Have you ever seen how a woman's eyes soften after the storm passes? When she realizes you didn't crumble under pressure, when she knows you chose patience over pride. It's in those quiet moments and after the silence and when respect deepens. But let me be honest with you, this kind of control doesn't come easily. It requires practice, discipline, self-awareness. Ask yourself, how many times have my words made things worse? How many moments could have been salvaged if I had just paused? We're conditioned to believe that winning an argument means speaking louder, proving our logic, outmaneuvering emotions with words. But true power, the kind that leaves a lasting impression, lies in restraint. Imagine this. She's testing you, consciously or not, pushing your buttons to see if your calm is real or just an act. And when you stay composed, when your eyes stay soft but your posture firm, she sees something different. She sees a man who doesn't chase validation, a man who won't be manipulated by emotional games, a man who leads with silent strength. And tell me, isn't that what you want? To be the man she respects, not because you control her, but because you've mastered control over yourself? Stay with me, because in the next secret, we'll go even deeper into the subtle art that makes powerful men unforgettable. And if you're already feeling this message resonate, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's continue this journey together. Point 2. Creating mystery through selective vulnerability. Have you ever found yourself sitting across from someone you're falling for, and you want to tell them everything? Your fears, your dreams, your past heartbreaks, because somehow it feels like opening your heart fully might draw them closer, right? But let me ask you, has that ever backfired? Have you ever shared too much too soon, only to feel the energy shift, like the mystery drained out of the connection? That silent shift where what once felt magnetic suddenly feel familiar, predictable, and somehow less powerful. You see, real connection isn't about dumping your entire life story onto someone's lap. It's about the art of selective vulnerability, revealing just enough to spark emotional intimacy, but leaving enough unsaid to keep the mystery alive. Imagine you're on a date. The conversation is flowing. She's laughing, leaning in, eyes locked on yours, and she asks, "Have you ever been in love before?" In that moment, your response holds power. You could dive into a long, detailed story about your ex, your heartbreak, every scar you carry. Or you could pause, smile softly and say, "Yes, I've loved. And I've learned some things that change the way I see love forever." Then let the silence hang. Can you feel that? That tension, that intrigue. Now she leans in. Now she wants to know more. You've opened a window, but you haven't thrown open the door. That's selective vulnerability. It's sharing enough to show you're human, real, and emotionally aware, but holding back just enough to remain intriguing. Because let's be honest, mystery is powerful. When a woman senses that there's more to you, layers she hasn't yet discovered, she feels drawn to keep exploring. Not out of manipulation, but because your restraint signals confidence. You don't need to overexpose yourself to earn her approval. You're not desperate for instant closeness. Ask yourself right now, how often have I tried to win someone's affection by oversharing? How many times have I mistaken emotional vomiting for genuine vulnerability? The truth is, women don't fall for men who bleed everything out on the first date. They fall for men who give glimpses, who hint at depth, who reveal enough to feel safe, but never so much that the mystery dies. And here's the beautiful part. When you practice selective vulnerability, you create an ongoing narrative between you and her. Every time you share a little more, she feels like she's being invited deeper into your world, a world not everyone gets to enter. And that feeling, that privilege of discovery, it builds deep respect and lasting desire. So next time you feel the urge to spill everything, pause, smile. Let the silence do some of the talking. Remember, mystery isn't about hiding. It's about pacing the unfolding of your truth. Now stay with me, because in the next secret, we'll explore a subtle form of strength that makes women need your presence more than your words ever could. If this resonates with your own love journey, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's keep building your power together. Point 3. Mastering the art of emotional detachment. Have you ever loved someone so deeply that their every mood became your mood? When they were happy, you were floating. When they were distant, you couldn't breathe. And when they pulled away, even slightly, your mind spun with endless questions. What did I do wrong? Are they losing interest? Is this slipping away? Pause for a moment. Have you felt that helpless grip? That painful space where your happiness depends entirely on someone else's approval or affection? This is where many men lose themselves, in emotional over-attachment. But powerful men, they play a different game. They learn the art of emotional detachment, not because they don't care, but because they refuse to let their inner peace be held hostage. Picture this. You're deeply invested in a woman. She's beautiful, captivating, and you feel this electric pull toward her. But one evening, she seems cold, distant. Her texts are short, her tone off. The old you'd spiral, you'd send that long text, call repeatedly, overthink every word. But now, you breathe. You acknowledge your emotions without letting them control you. You sit with your discomfort, and you stay grounded because you've mastered detachment. Why is this so powerful? Because emotional detachment whispers a message that women hear loud and clear. I want you, but I don't need you to complete me. And that energy? It's magnetic. Women respect a man who can hold space for his feelings without becoming enslaved by them. They respect the man who isn't shaken by temporary shifts in emotion, who remains calm, steady and focused on his purpose regardless of the emotional waves around him. Ask yourself right now, how often have I allowed someone's shifting emotions to dictate my peace? How many times have I tried to fix things too quickly out of fear of losing them? The truth is, emotional detachment isn't about becoming cold or distant. It's about owning your internal state. It's about standing tall in the storm, knowing that her mood, her tests, or her silence do not define your worth. Imagine her seeing you unshaken. No reactive texts, no desperate explanations, just quiet strength. And when the moment passes, and as it always does, she looks at you with different eyes. Eyes that see stability, eyes that see leadership, eyes that wonder, how does he stay so composed? Because here's the secret. The more you need someone, the more power you give away. But when you hold your own center, when you master emotional detachment, you draw others in effortlessly. You become the calm in their storm. So I invite you to reflect. Am I ready to master my emotions? Or will I continue being ruled by them? If you're ready to rise, stay with me. In the next secret, we'll uncover the hidden power behind leading without seeking anyone's approval. And if you're feeling this truth hit home, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's keep building your quiet, unshakable power together. Point 4. Leading without needing approval. Have you ever found yourself holding back, choosing your words carefully, adjusting your tone, or second-guessing your decisions just because you were afraid of how she might react? Maybe you didn't even realize it at the time. Maybe it started as something small, agreeing with her opinion when you actually disagreed, avoiding certain topics to keep things smooth, hesitating to make a decision because you worried she might not like it. Let me ask you, have you ever tried to lead while still secretly needing her approval? How did that feel? Heavy, frustrating, like you were constantly walking on eggshells, never fully in your own power? This is where many men unknowingly surrender their leadership. Because true leadership, the kind women deeply respect, doesn't come from trying to please. It comes from leading without needing approval. Picture this. You're out with a woman you're deeply attracted to. The waiter comes. She says, "I don't know. What do you think we should get?" In that moment, you have two choices. You can turn it into a back and forth, trying to find the perfect answer that makes her smile, or you can lead. You smile confidently and say, "Let's start with the house special. Trust me, you'll like it." Simple, clear, and suddenly she relaxes. Because whether she realizes it or not, she's craving your leadership. Women may test you, question you, even challenge your decisions at times, but what they're really searching for is your ability to stand firm. Not because you're stubborn, not because you dominate, but because you know who you are, because your confidence doesn't sway with every glance, sigh, or raised eyebrow. Think about this in your own love life. How often have you softened your leadership to avoid potential conflict? How many times have you played small to make her more comfortable, only to feel frustrated with yourself later? Here's the paradox. The more you seek her approval, the less of it you'll actually receive. But when you lead from your truth, when your decisions reflect your values, your confidence and your vision, she feels safe. Safe to relax into her feminine, safe to trust your guidance, safe to admire your strength. Real leadership isn't about forcing control. It's about owning responsibility without apology. It's about knowing that your worth isn't dependent on constant reassurance. It's about trusting your judgment, while staying open to feedback, but never enslaved by it. And when she sees this in you, her respect grows. Her desire deepens, because you've become the rare man who leads from within, not from a desperate need for approval. So ask yourself, am I leading or am I performing? Am I seeking her admiration or am I simply being the man I know I am? Stay with me, because in the next secret, we'll explore one of the most quietly attractive traits of all, making self-priority your most unshakable standard. If this is opening your eyes, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's continue building your silent power together. Point 5. The unspoken dominance of self-priority. Have you ever fallen so deeply for someone that your entire world started to revolve around them? Their happiness became your mission. Their approval became your reward. And slowly, without even noticing, you began to drift away from yourself. Your goals softened, your passions dimmed, and your own needs quietly slipped to the bottom of the list, as if loving them somehow meant abandoning yourself. Pause for a moment. Have you been there? Are you there now? It's a dangerous place, my friend. Because while love asks us to give, true respect demands that we never lose ourselves while doing so. This is where the rare man separates himself from the many. The man who practices self-priority holds a quiet dominance that doesn't need to be spoken. It radiates. It's felt. Not because he loves less, but because he understands that losing himself serves no one. Imagine this. You're building your career, your health, your mission. You're not ignoring her. You're inviting her into your world. But your world keeps spinning whether she joins or not. You're not waiting for permission to pursue your goals. You're not sacrificing your identity to fit into hers. You lead your own life with unapologetic focus. And here's where the paradox begins to unfold. The more you prioritize your own growth, your own peace, your own purpose, the more she's drawn to you. Why? Because self-priority signals strength. It whispers, "My happiness isn't in your hands. My world is already full. You're invited to share in it, but you are not the source of it." Women feel this deeply. They respect the man who loves them, but who will never abandon his mission for them. The man who shows up fully but doesn't shrink to accommodate. Let me ask you, how often have you put your own dreams on pause just to keep someone happy? How many times have you compromised your standards, your routines, your personal growth, hoping it would bring you closer to her? The hard truth is this: the more you chase, the more they pull away. But when you stand firm in your self-priority, not arrogantly, but with calm confidence, you become irresistible. Because deep down, every woman desires a man who doesn't need her to fill an emptiness inside. A man who's already whole, a man who's grounded in his own value, with or without her constant approval. And when she sees that you'll never sacrifice your essence for love, that's when she feels safe enough to trust you, to admire you, and to respect you more than any sweet words could ever accomplish. So reflect for a moment. Is your life built around someone else's approval? Or are you building a life so full, so rich, that love becomes an addition, not a rescue? Stay with me, because in this journey of power, we've only scratched the surface. If you feel the truth of this rising inside you, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's continue unlocking the quiet strength that makes you unforgettable. And there it is, my friend. 5 quiet, powerful secrets that separate the man who chases from the man who commands respect. It's not about playing games or wearing masks. It's about becoming deeply rooted in who you are, creating mystery through selective vulnerability, mastering emotional detachment, leading without seeking approval, standing firm in self-priority. These aren't just techniques, and they're a way of living, a way of honoring yourself, your value, and the love you're capable of sharing without ever losing your center. If you've made it this far, I just want to say, truly, thank you for being here. Your time, your attention, your willingness to reflect, it means more than you know. We're building something here, not just a channel, but a space where men like you can rise into your quiet power together. If this spoke to you, I invite you gently to hit that like button and subscribe. Not because you have to, but because if this kind of truth resonates with your journey, we'll continue walking this path together. And I would love to hear from you. What part of today's message struck the deepest chord? Drop your thoughts or questions in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else who needs it. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.